This mission is not sustainable without the support of the federal government. And so my conversation with the Illinois delegation is, one, to make sure that we actually have an appropriations funding to actually deal with this crisis. Two, work to expedite work authorization. And quite frankly, Reverend Al, what we need is a nationwide coordination to be able to address this crisis.
No, it puts a tremendous burden on you and other Democratic mayors. I might add, many black mayors has been the focal of this.
Did you see that one coming? I bet you did. It's the year of 2024. Everything has to be racist. Al Sharpton should be ashamed of himself. Martin Luther King Jr. rolling in his grave. This is what they pump out over. It has to be racist, right? Why don't you put a little context with it, Al? Why don't you say, hey, I wonder why they are getting shipped up to you? Maybe because you guys have claimed your sanctuary cities? Does that have anything to do with it? Does that have anything to do with it? Any other mayor, say it's somewhere in Minnesota, no, wherever it needs to be, if they were saying the same thing, come here, we're a sanctuary city, because they never thought that this was going to happen. They thought it was going to just solely be on Texas, Arizona, all of these southern states getting completely mangled, right? So they're like, oh no, we're a sanctuary city, bring us here. Same thing with Eric Adams in New York. And you see what happened with him. He started coming out talking about it, starting calling Joe by name, and what happened. All of a sudden, here's all these scandals and all that going about Eric Adams. But you see, it's the same race card. He's only sending them to you, and it just happens to be that you're black Democratic mayor. What is that all about? These people are so disingenuous. Why don't they say that? Or why didn't Brandon Johnson right there, if he was a true man, why doesn't he stand up and say, well, listen, I did campaign that we were a sanctuary city, but I didn't want it to go about it this way. I didn't want it to be like this. It's not about race. Just Greg Abbott took something I said and piggybacked and just drove it home. Why don't they say that? Why doesn't he be real with it? Nope. He has to double down and go right what Al Sharpton said.
Well, look, you're absolutely right about the intentions of Governor Abbott. He is attacking democratically ran cities, and particularly cities that are being led by black leaders or leaders of color. This is unconscionable. It's a very raggedy approach.
They just can never let go of the racism thing. Even though he's black, right? Brandon Johnson, he's a man. If it was so racist, how could he get that position in such a racist country? Look at Al Sharpton on this phony news network making all of this money right here interviewing another black man on the white man's airwaves. How is that possible if the country is so racist? It's just so much. It's everywhere. Just look out the window. You're going to see it. Go to the grocery store. These people should be ashamed of. Like I'm telling you, Martin Luther King and all that, they wouldn't even look at these people because they are doing such a disservice. And that's all they do is pump out the same messaging over and over again. They never really talk about the black community. They talk about the crime that goes on in the black community. What about the education? Do they talk about any of that kind of stuff? How they are failing their own citizens? What are they doing for them? What are they doing for them? Nothing. But then they want to go and stand and act like they're all about them and they're all about the community. They don't represent the community whatsoever. But they got a large segment of these individuals completely cooked, brainwashed to believe this propaganda that they spew. Keep it real. We were claiming we're a sanctuary city. We got hit in the mouth, and now we don't want none of this. We never thought it was going to get to this. Go look when they have all of these like little meetings in townhouses, like say like in a basketball gym in Chicago or New York somewhere. It's all the black people of the community saying they don't want it. There's no white supremacists there. There's none of that kind of stuff. They don't even want it, even though they lined up to vote for it. And that's a whole topic for another day, because we see how this just rinses and repeats the same thing. They are the ones complaining about this. So what are you talking about? It has to be the big old bad man in the wheelchair, the racist. It's him. He's only sending it to the cities that are black. This is what it's all about this. He wants to destroy us. They should be ashamed of themselves, but they're not. It's the continuous messaging. And go ahead, I wish there was a time machine. Go into 10 more years into the future. Third, they'll be repeating the same thing. It does not matter. This is what they want. They want to keep people enslaved mentally, and they just have a stranglehold on a certain amount of people, and it's a shame. But more and more people here and there are finally waking up, and they're seeing this for what it really is. It's all propaganda. You can do this is the greatest country in the world. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's out there to get you. You can change your life however you want. They put out messaging like that? Al Sharpton was out there marching for the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion kind of thing. And over there talking about how much they need it. That's a slap in the face to the black community. He said, you know what? You guys need a boost. You guys can't compete on the same level with white people or Asians or Samoans or whoever, Mongolians. You need to be on a pedestal. We need to give you a leg up. We need to give you a head start because you need it. Even Joe said, we can't do voter ID. These people don't have IDs. They're not smart enough to know how to go online. They backhand these people 24/7, and the people are just blind and they don't see it.
Hush up, boy.
It's just a shame to see this, how bad this is. And this is all they do. They regurgitate the same. Think about what they could accomplish if they weren't on this propaganda and this BS. If they were talking about where the blame really goes. No, close up the border. We need to take care of our own citizens first. Our whole kitchen's a mess. We can't be inviting people over to try to cook for them. You see what the kitchen looks like? You see what the country, what's going on in our own country? They'll never do that. They'll never point the finger where it really needs to go and solve real problems. They just create new problems and they say they're going to fix it. Then they line back up 4 years from now. Vote for me again. I'm going to fix the problems I just created. Rinse and repeat. And before you know it, your whole community's gone to hell. And it's just rinse and repeat. But make sure you vote for me. I'm for the blacks. They're not. It's a bunch of nonsense. It really is. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know your guys' thoughts about all this stuff. And if you knew it was always going to lead back to racism, because everything does. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.